safe bubble, our little space where we can feel safe and take time out from the world. If you're joining me, you may notice, if you have followed my other videos, that the format has changed. The audio has changed. It's a prime example of correcting yourself when things weren't going quite right. As I like to remind myself sometimes, life isn't about writing the pages, it's about rewriting the pages. So lots of content over the last 22 shows is a lot quieter. I mean, you can hear the content, but I hadn't realised how low the volume was with the recording, so I apologise for that. But it's all a learning curve, flaws and all. So in this video, I'm just simply going to welcome you again. And just go over really what this channel is all about. Firstly, and more importantly, and most importantly, it's about you taking time for yourself. Taking time to be kind to yourself. Self-care matters. Self-love matters. And so often in everyday life, it can get forgotten. I like to keep all these shows very natural, not too structured, and simply share with you things that have happened in my day or my week, things that I love, that have made me happy, that I would like to share with you. Maybe they may make you happy, maybe they may help you. Simply by self-sharing with each other, I like to think that we can grow a little bit together or heal a little bit together. very different, but just sometimes knowing that someone's there, that you're not alone, can be comforting. So welcome to the One Woman ASMR show. Simply time together. In this time, as I say, we're going to share articles, notes, products, beauty products, hair products, home products, useful, useless, books, all sorts of things in this time we're sharing together. So let's have a cup of tea together. And get to know each other better. My tea today, as I do love teas, whether they're the English breakfast tea or herbal teas, but this one is the turmeric and green tea. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I run my own pub and restaurant, which at this time is proving a challenge. And like you, I have anxious and stressful days I simply want to escape from, or just find a way to free myself, relax myself, or calm myself. I also write books, and I'm a huge advocate of ASMR and the benefits it has to reduce anxiety, stress, insomnia if you're finding it difficult to get to sleep. Simply comforting when you need it. I was going to be talking about what's happened in the last week and share a few items with you, but as this is a kind of the new One Woman show, let's firstly talk about the number one thing that I love, and I know I'm not alone. Paper and notebooks. I absolutely love notebooks. The feel of a new notebook, the smell of a new notebook, deciding what to write on those first couple of pages, if anything at all. Sometimes they're just too nice to write in. And then it's a case of using the right pen. To some people this sounds just so silly. But in my videos there's often a lot of paper sounds. And me writing in my journals. As well as this is my ASMR folder of goodies. Mainly stickers and tattoos, hand tattoos that we do together. And in each show I like to obviously firstly check that you're okay. Then share perhaps an inspirational article that I found. And beauty products or a cream that I found that I like, or maybe something for the house. Sometimes I'll read an excerpt out of various books. Or share with you articles that I found. This was one that I started on in one of the earlier videos that I will be going back to. It's a very old newspaper cutting that says, "Turn out all your pockets. It's just possible you may have a fortune in small change." And this relates to old English coins. And as I say, I'll be going back to that one. I also have in my shows my little knee desktop where you perhaps write a few notes or lists, as lists are another one of my favourite things to do, to organise, to help calm my mind, organise my day, achieve those short-term goals, long-term goals. I'm not sure if you can hear it, and as this is all about keeping it real, these videos, there's suddenly a huge downpour as I look out of my window here, and I can hear the rain absolutely pouring onto the rooftop, so you might be able to hear that as well. Hopefully it's not going to disturb. If anything, maybe add. It was such a nice day yesterday, considering the time of the year, but they had forecast more rain and winds, and they're here. Also have our trusty buttons calculator. Not for any particular reason, it's just nice to have buttons. Often in every show we try and do a little bit of craft where I can. Let's enjoy and simply be present in the now. Even if you have just spent the last 22 shows recording with hardly any volume. Start where you are. Do something amazing. And this one, definitely do more of what makes you happy. This was an envelope that we did addressed to myself. In 6 months' time, you are where you are meant to be. Sometimes don't we worry about every moment and where we're going and the twists and turns in the road. But we have to remind each other, you are amazing, and everything, for whatever reason, is how it's supposed to be. Of course, we all have choices, which is fantastic. So there's always a potential of a change in the road. You got to love a post-it note as well. interior magazines. And some of my videos may be no talking, because sometimes it's just nice to get really calm. Just put everything to one side and just listen. So I hope you will be able to join me on those as well. And I think with these pages that we added the post-it notes in one of the next videos, we'll cut them out and start putting together a new mood board or a scrapbook of things that we like, that inspire us, that motivate us, that make us smile. Often I have bits around me that I've gathered up to simply share with you. Some of it you may like, some of it you may not like. I have here a plastic jacket that I sometimes wear if we're really focusing in on the sounds. Just leaning, I'll be back in a moment. And books that I'd like to share with you from other authors. More recently, there's the author Beth Kempton that I've come across, who I have found so inspirational and relatable, and it's about finding the freedom. I think one of her books is Wabi Sabi, which is absolutely wonderful, and also Freedom Seekers, which is just splendid. These are some of the ones I've written, but in fact they're not the same covers anymore. One of these was One Woman versus Life, which is in fact that one. It's simply about my quirky ways and many, many others that struggle with day-to-day tasks and sometimes feeling like you haven't got the rule book, that everyone around you seems to know what they're doing. And perhaps tasks like travelling or driving on the motorway, exams, eating eating out in public, going to the loo in public. All these things make us very anxious, wrapped up in a whole bundle of social anxiety. And it was just a book that I wanted to write, just to not moan, just share. And hopefully, if it comforts one other person, knowing that they're perhaps going through the same and they're not alone. And then there was the one woman's private life shared, which touches on stages of my life, from motherhood and postnatal depression, decisions, very tough decisions I had to make down the line, plans that I had for my career, changes that I had to make in my career, and just a reminder to myself and anybody about the crossroads and decisions and choices. And then we have a very light-hearted book, The Sambuca Queen Club, Finding a Balance That Suits You, which is absolutely full of, as I say, useful, useless information, tips and hints and hacks, ways to cure hangovers, motivational, inspirational tips, a couple of rants and modes, quick fire question and answers, about listening to your own body and hopefully guiding you slightly on a path to make yourself happy on your terms, and I suppose being the best version of yourself. And a small, trusty red handbook to life. Again, post-it notes. Which is just simply an analogy of how a Swiss Army knife, with all the blades that come out, represents something else in your life, as a reminder to be kind, be true, to keep going, to be unique and proud of being unique, being kind on yourself. And it's just a little tiny little red book to embrace your Swiss Army knife, because it's everything you need. And again, in another video, I'll read a few excerpts from mine and other books or articles that I've found inspirational. In the front of this one, it says, "To those around me that have reminded me, being kind is not weak. Relaxing is productive, and a sense of humour is serious, to enable us to have those simply great days." When it comes to it, Christmas book. Gosh, that's creeping up, isn't it? Anyway, we'll park that thought. And then, with fiction, if you like, just a glossy, easy beach read, bit steamy in places. There's the sexy Bernie Taylor. She's a woman that knows her own mind, knows what she needs to do to get what she wants, with twists and turns in the road. There's two at the moment in this series, the London Days and Nights and the New York Days and Nights. So that is a brief recap on the One Woman ASMR shows. Simply, as I say, time together, sharing, taking a moment out from the world, finding ways to help with any anxieties that we might be suffering with. If you're feeling alone, hopefully you found a friend, and sharing all the things I love with you. Take care of yourself, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.